There's no sugarcoating this. I was laid off. I had no control over the layoff, but there's something about being laid off that feels shameful. At some point, most of us will switch jobs, just like I'm doing now. Being unprepared when you leave can make finding your next opportunity much harder, but it doesn't have to be this way. I found there are three important steps you should take before leaving your company that can save you a truckload of stress in your next job search. Hello, I'm Chuck. After spending multiple decades building software, I've experienced both quitting and being laid off. The advice I'm sharing today comes from my experience, both my successes and the mistakes I've made along the way. I created this video to help you prepare for finding your next position. My hope is that by the end of this video, you'll be better prepared for that next opportunity. Step 1. Document your job descriptions and impact. The best time to record your impact and responsibilities is when you still have access to the projects and documentation. Trust me, years later, you'll appreciate having all those details. I've had many positions through my career, and I can't remember everything I did at every single company. I keep this document I call experience details that catalogs positions I've held. I try to capture my official job responsibilities, projects I've led or contributed to, measurable impacts, technologies I used, and challenges that I overcame. Don't write improved database performance. That's worthless. Instead, note specific metrics like reduce query time by 40% or decrease server load by 25%. These specific metrics will make your resume stand out and give you concrete talking points in your interviews. For example, I once worked on a greenfield project where I created everything from the first line of code to the production deployments. I initially framed it as a senior software engineering role, but later in my career, as I began seeing myself more as a software architect, I realized that much of that work was actually defining the architecture. I was able to revisit and reframe this position in subsequent interviews and on my resume as a software architecture position. None of this would have been possible if I had not kept my experience documented up to date. Step 2. Secure references and recommendations. Find team members who will give you recommendations and serve as references. Companies always want to speak with the previous coworkers about your performance. It's much easier to ask why you're still working together than reaching out later. Make sure you have 4 or 5 people willing to give you a good recommendation or be your reference. During one hiring cycle, I received an offer and provided 3 references. All 3 coworkers agreed to be my reference and provided me their contact information. However, when the hiring manager reached out to them, 2 of them ghosted them. And then I reached out to the 2 and they ghosted me too. Luckily, I had 2 other references who came through and I landed the position. Had I only secured those 3 references, I might have lost the opportunity. The lesson? Be prepared for the unexpected. People's circumstances change, and your career shouldn't be dependent on any one person. Step 3. Say goodbye. People often overlook goodbyes, but you shouldn't. You never know how you might encounter a former coworker in the future. I worked with some of the same people across multiple jobs. Sometimes I'm the boss, sometimes they are. The more goodwill you can build, the better. I understand some don't want the attention and saying goodbye brings attention. I once left a company where my team took me out to dinner to celebrate my new freedom from the company. When a waiter asked what we were celebrating, someone shouted, "Chuck getting fired!" It was an awkward moment. My advice? Say goodbye to people. If you don't, they'll notice you're gone and likely feel sad they didn't have an opportunity to say goodbye. Give them that closure. When I leave a company, I always say goodbye and offer contact information, usually via a LinkedIn connection. Here's something extra. Let's call this a bonus. Update your experience document every 6 months or as your responsibilities change. This way you can speak confidently about your work on your resume or in your interviews, even if you're suddenly escorted out of that building. Whether you're leaving on your own terms or facing an unexpected layoff like I did, these 3 steps, documenting your impact, securing multiple references, and saying goodbye, creates a foundation for your next opportunity. This preparation builds lasting career resilience. Remember, career transitions happen to most people. It's not the transition itself, but how prepared you are that determines what comes next. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. It helps others find my videos and it supports my channel. New here? Consider subscribing. I discuss software development and AI engineering. Got questions or your own tips for handling job transitions? Drop them in the comments below. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn or through my website. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and keep learning.